Saturday shirt, same one as last week. Dugroz in the driveway, checking tires squeaks. Print out map, folded 3 wrong ways. He's chasing down a waterfall behind the municipal maze. Little stone park with the chain link gate. He reads every plaque, then he's back on 68. Oh yeah. Casey's Pizza in the parking lot. Grease on the napkin, soda on his watch. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. Bennigan's lunch at the edge of the mall, ordering dessert like he's 10 feet tall. Every mile, every roadside stop he saves, 'cause the trip was paid in points and presidents' graves. Ba 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 da. In a 2-lane trance, he pulls up for a courthouse just to give it a glance. It's marble busts and fluorescent light. He whispers each inscription like a bedtime rite. State House dome in a postcard sky. He snaps it from the shoulder, kids rolling their eyes. Hey! Casey's Pizza in the parking lot. Grease on the napkin, soda on his watch. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. Bennigan's lunch at the edge of the mall, ordering dessert like he's 10 feet tall. Every mile, every roadside stop he saves, 'cause the trip was paid in points and presidents' graves. He's got apps on his phone. He's got stamps on his mind. Turn plastic into highways, into stories in kind. Waterfall mist on a thrift store shirt. He's rich in the roads that never quite make the alert. Ba, 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 ba. Casey's Pizza in the parking lot. Grease on the napkin, soda on his watch. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. Bennigan's lunch at the edge of the mall, ordering dessert like he's 10 feet tall. Every mile, every roadside stop he saves on a quiet little life built of points and miles and presidents' graves.
Mm. 5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. Dugroz here with Dugroz Reports. Welcome to my special April 1st live stream. Today is April the 1st, 2026. I'm in the studio today and we have something very special. So April Fool's Day is often known for pranks and mischief, but it can also just be known for lighthearted fun. And that's what we have today. So for the past several weeks, I've been working on a passion project of mine, which is music. And specifically, there's a kind of music that I enjoy called the Continental style, which was in the 1960s, mostly in Europe, but it did come over to America as well. And I've made 2 full albums, and we're going to go over that together. These are actually available on Bandcamp now. You can go to dugroz.bandcamp.com. There is a link in the description box. And we're going to be putting this on in the style of a PBS-type telethon. So in just a little bit, I'm going to go full in character. This is going to be kind of like a live-action role play sort of thing. So I do appreciate each and every one of you that's on board right now. I see 10 people, 12 people. Click the thumbs up button if you've not yet done so. But once we go into full character mode, I will no longer be Dugroz. I will be the presenter So this is going to be a little different. This has nothing to do with points and miles, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. This video will live on this channel as a live stream for, I don't know, maybe about 2, 3, 4 days. And then I will move it over to my alternate channel, Dugroz Nostalgia, so that we have consistency on the channel. Now, just to let you know, once I go into full character mode, due to time constraints of live music, I will only be able to respond to comments that are contribution oriented, like super chats, super stickers, tip jar tips during the presentation. I will have a question and answer time at the end, so please don't be offended if I don't acknowledge your comment as we go, like I normally do on Saturday morning. Again, think of this more like watching a TV show rather than a live stream with Dugroz, but at the end I will have live interaction. Hey, Xavier celebrates 20 months of membership. Celebrate. Thank you so much, Xavier. And I do see all of you on board here. Tia Rico, Mike Newland, DEM, and the El Puma. And I thank you for being here. I know this is an unusual schedule, so we're going to dive in right about now. So please bear with me. Again, I will be going into character. And once I do, I'm no longer Dugroz. I am your telethon presenter. So a quick nose blow, and then we'll start on that. Five, four, three. Welcome to our annual telethon, and thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, some ambiguous washed-up celebrity from the 80s. Today we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz, and what a celebration it will be. If you'd like to support this channel, you'll find a tip jar link in the description below, along with super chats and super stickers. We also have a link to Bandcamp, where every song you'll hear today is available for purchase. Individual tracks for just $1.62, or you can think of it as $1.625, or the album for only $99. Simply visit dugroz.bandcamp.com. Your support means everything. Now, let's take a step back in time. Welcome to the Grand Bavarian Resort. Somewhere on the shores of the most beautiful lake in southern Germany, nestled in the Alpine foothills, the kind of sky you only see in dreams, there stood a resort, the Grand Bavarian Resort. And for a handful of golden summers in the mid-1960s, its dining room, its lakeside pavilion, and its grand ballroom were graced by the sounds of one of the most distinctive ensembles in all of continental Europe, the Resort Orchestra of Maestro Dugroz. The 7 pieces you'll hear on this first album represent the 1965 season, a summer that by all accounts was something rather special. Among the guests that year was a British family, we'll call them the Bristols, who had saved up, planned carefully, and traveled a very long way to be here. It was their first continental experience. What they found was something they hadn't quite expected. Not just a holiday, an experience. They arrived in the afternoon just in time for a short nap before the festivities began. They dressed for dinner and walked into the dining room that took their breath away. They strolled the grounds at 6:30 and watched the light move across the water. They danced, or at least tried to. They listened. And somewhere between the first evening and the last, they understood why people came back to the Grand Bavarian Resort year after year. Not all of what you'll hear today belongs in the Bristol's story specifically. Some of these pieces were composed simply for the resort audience, for anyone who needed, just for a little while, to feel that the world was beautiful and unhurried and full of possibility. That was always the gift of Maestro Dugroz. Where is he now? We're not sure, but the music remains. This is the Grand Bavarian Resort. Support for this channel is made possible by the Gugelhupf Foundation and by viewers like you. And now the Grand Bavarian Resort, and we start with our first song, 4:30, Gugelhupf. That was 4:30 Gugelhupf. Thanks for listening. And I'd like to take just a moment to meet some of the members of our resort orchestra. This is Teddy. Teddy plays marimba and mallet percussion, stocky but cool and beloved. The next song that we're going to go over is called The Opening Act, and it was written by a mysterious Swedish guy named Sven or Soren. Really, nobody knows what happened to him. He only resided at the resort for one season. He wrote the next song, and then he disappeared. And it was going to be eliminated, but it was salvaged by Teddy because he thought it had some pretty interesting marimba parts. So we'll go ahead and get into that in just a moment. But before we do, I'll take just a second to acknowledge the contribution of one of our supporters, Mike Newland, who drops a super sticker for $1.99. Thank you so much for your patronage and your pledge to our telethon, Mr. Mike Newland. So let's move on here, and we will listen to our next song, which is called The Opening Act, featuring Teddy on the marimba. Thank you. Okay, that was the opening act. Thank you very much for listening into that one. We'll go on to a little introduction next. We still want to meet more of the orchestra members. This is Maestro Dugroz. He's the piano and conductor of the group, a German maestro extraordinaire, the heart and soul of the whole operation. Some claim this picture is altered. The maestro says, "Ach, nonsense." Now, not all of the songs at the Grand Bavarian Resort were specifically written to tell the story of our Bristol family. Some of them were written specifically for the resort audience so that through song, they can experience what many things are like. This next song is called Something Wonderful in Bremen. Bremen is a town in Germany known for its elegant upscale shopping districts. And the next song celebrates that. It portrays a young German housewife who is sent into the big city with some money for the first time, rides the train in, and goes shopping because there's always something wonderful in Bremen to do or to buy. So without further ado, I present our next song, Something Wonderful in Bremen. That was Something Wonderful in Bremen by Maestro Dugroz. For those of you who are just now joining us today, we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz and the Grand Bavarian Resort of the 1965 season. I'm your host, some ambiguous celebrity from the 80s. Thank you for joining us on this fundraiser, and I ask that if you like what you hear today, you would consider making a purchase. You can head on over to dugroz.bandcamp.com and download any of the albums today. We'll be covering both of them, plus 2 singles. The Grand Bavarian Resort has 7 different albums, which you can purchase for $1.62 each, or you can buy the entire digital download for $9.99, featuring each of the songs that you'll hear today. Again, that's dugroz.bandcamp.com, and there will also be a link in the description box. I'd like to take just a moment to thank one of our supporters for their contribution. Okie Wes likes the tunes and the narratives, has a Wes Anderson vibe. Thank you so much. Our telethon is made possible by viewers like you, and it is greatly appreciated. Let's take a step back now and take another opportunity to meet the orchestra. This is Heinrich Hugel, our clarinet 1 player. His playing style is as flamboyant as his lapels. He can really lay it down. And Heinrich has a prominent role on our next song, which is called Friday Stroll. So as our Bristol family has settled into life at the resort, had their first night listening to music, sometimes a dad just wants to wander the grounds and take in the sights, the freedom, the wanderlust. So let's take a listen now. I present to you Friday Stroll by Maestro Dugroz. Well done, well done. That was Friday Stroll by Maestro Dugroz. For those of you who are just joining us, we're having a telethon to celebrate the music of Maestro Dugroz and his 1965 album, The Grand Bavarian Resort. Reminder that you can head on over to dugroz.bandcamp.com, and that helps support our station. Anyone who buys an entire album will be publicly acknowledged during the show, and 80% of the proceeds from purchasing a song or an album go directly to supporting this station. Now, when we think about music that might be played at a resort, there's a common type of music in the 1960s called exotica. Basically, people in Europe didn't always know what the far-flung parts of the world were like, so sometimes they would write songs about places like Asia or Africa or the Indian subcontinent or maybe even South America. A famous example is the song Calcutta by Lawrence Welk. Well, Maestro Dugroz in 1965 was no exception to that. And in fact, he composed a real banger called Moonlight over Algiers, available on the Grand Bavarian Resort. And that's what we'll listen to next. So settle in, kick back, let your ears enjoy our next song, which is known as Moonlight over Algiers. That was Moonlight over Algiers by Maestro Dugroz. Thank you, everyone who is on board with us right now. Note that due to the time constraints of live music, only comments with contributions will be acknowledged during the presentation, but there will be a question and answer session at the end of the two albums being presented today. Thank you for your understanding. I'm the ambiguous 80s celebrity, and I'm the host of your telethon today. Please give us a call. There's links in the description box for different ways you can support our station, and we appreciate viewers like you. You can go to dugroz.bandcamp.com and purchase any of the songs that you hear today. Yes, that is an actual website that is up and available at this time. So our Bristol family, who is coming to Germany for their first ever continental vacation, has settled in. They've had a few different things that they've been able to hear, some songs. And there's a beautiful lake at this resort. And at this lake in the evening, somewhere around 6:30, the sun will be starting to go down. There's a grand wooden portico, very lovely. And while you stand on the portico, if you choose to join in with the celebration, the band will play in the background one of their signature songs. And this always plays at 6:30. And because it always plays at 6:30, the name of the song is, in fact, Lakeside 6:30. So here we present to you for your listening enjoyment by Maestro Dugroz, Lakeside 6:30. Wow, wow. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much to the orchestra. We're still celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. And before we move on, let's take a moment here to meet another member of the orchestra. This is Dietrich. Now, Dietrich is the house pianist. He holds down the keys when the maestro conducts, because sometimes the maestro plays piano, but sometimes the maestro stands and conducts. Occasionally, two of them will play together. Dietrich is very popular with the teen girls who visit the resort along with their parents. Now, speaking of Dietrich, there is going to be a song coming up next where he and the maestro play together. And this is the final song on album number 1, the Grand Bavarian Resort. This next song is called the Plaid Sportcoat Rag. This is the closing song on the closing night of a full week at the resort for a Bristol family. It's time to be flamboyant, put on your finest plaid sport coat with wide lapels, and cut a rug. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Plaid Sportcoat Rag. Whoa, yay, how fun was that? The Plaid Sportcoat Rag. So thank you to everyone in our TV audience who is supporting us today. We're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz with 2 of his albums, and the one that we just concluded is called The Grand Bavarian Resort. Now that can be found on the Bandcamp page. It is dugroz.bandcamp.com. Here's a picture of it right here. You can buy either of the 2 albums we'll be celebrating today for $9.99, or individual songs for $1.62. We also have a couple singles. We heard Dugroz on the Points at the beginning of the show, and we'll be getting to our next single in just a few moments. But before we do, please note that anything you purchase over on Bandcamp is an actual song available for download and supports our channel. 85% goes directly to this particular channel. Now, following in tradition with some things you've observed before, we're going to take a little bit of an intermission here. So we're going to have just a bit of a break, and I would suggest you head on over and check your plaid sport coat or your dancing skirt, pet a dog if you need to do that, and we'll just take a little bit of a break here, and then we'll come back with our second album celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. So this is the halfway point, and while you are waiting for it, we're going to hear another one of the more modern compositions from the 1980s by Maestro Dugroz called Citi's Theme. So during our intermission, you can listen to this, and we'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes. And now a word from our sponsors.
Call it City Nights. If you get caught eating lunch in New York City, well, it's crazy, but it's true. Dining before 6 p.m. in New York City, the best that you can do. Is earn 3 points. Citigroup's reputation certainly isn't all that good. They're always doing some kind of crazy thing. City Nights is the way that they tell you you're gonna earn 6 total points on dining, but you must certain times. If you get caught eating lunch in New York City, well, it's crazy, but it's true. Dining before 6 p.m. in New York City, the best that you can do. Earn 3 points. If you get caught eating lunch in New York City, well, it's crazy, but it's true. Dining before 6 p.m. in New York City, the best that you can do. The best that you can do is earn 3 points. The best that you can do, the best that you can do is earn 3 points.
Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us today, we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. The song that you just heard is one of his more modern compositions from 1984 called Citi's Theme, taking a look at the City Strata Elite. And that song, along with all others that you hear today, are available at dugroz.bandcamp.com. And if you do make a purchase, please let us know, and we'd love to celebrate that along with you. Anything that you purchase at Bandcamp does support the channel. You can also drop a super chat or super sticker, and that's another great way to support this network. Now, moving along. So in the first half of our program, we were discussing the Grand Bavarian Resort, but Maestro Dugroz has other albums as well. Move over, Lawrence Welk. We have the German version of the Continental easy listening style. And now we turn the page. If the Grand Bavarian Resort gave us a place, a specific, golden, never quite forgotten place, then our second album gives us something harder to name, a feeling, a collection of moments scattered across the continent, connected not by geography, but by a certain quality of light. After the iconic 1965 season, Maestro Dugroz spent the spring of 1966 traveling. No schedule, no engagements, just Europe, a camera, and whatever the next road offered. The Netherlands in tulip season, the Rhineland on a Tuesday morning, the Alps on a day that seemed almost too perfect to be real, Yorkshire on a long, unhurried afternoon, Paris bright and flamboyant, people, places, nostalgia. Some of what he found he captured on camera. Some he carried only in memory. But all of it, every last image, remained vivid. The result was released later that year, quietly, without fanfare. 7 pieces, 7 postcards from a spring that clearly meant something to him. This is Postcards and Nostalgia. Support for this channel is made possible by the Gugelhupf Foundation and by viewers like you. The first track celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz on Postcards and Nostalgia is this one right here. It's called Copper Harbor Golden View. This is when the maestro went to Göteborg in Sweden and saw a harbor filled with copper. And by that, I mean Sweden is one of the main exporters of copper in Europe. And while the harbor had busy copper exports, the view was golden, the feeling was romantic. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, Copper Harbor Golden View. Please enjoy. Thank you, orchestra. Thank you so much. That was Copper Harbor Golden View, the first track on the album by Maestro Dugroz called Postcards and Nostalgia, available for purchase at dugroz.bandcamp.com. So if you're just now joining us, we are celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz here on our Telethon 1988. I am your host, ambiguous 80s celebrity. Thank you so much for joining us. And this station is supported by free will offerings from viewers like you and various foundations, including the Gugelhupf Foundation. Today, we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz, and if you buy any bit of any of the songs listed on Bandcamp, just let us know. We'd be happy to celebrate your support together. You can also support our station through any super chats, super stickers, and the tip jar link at the top of our description box. Let's learn a little bit more about the members of the orchestra. We've already met our clarinet 1 player, Heinrich. This is Ansgar Biel, clarinet 2. He's been around the block a few times. His playing style is sweet and smooth. When he and Heinrich play duets, it is magical. And you'll hear some soothing clarinet music from Ansgar on our next album, which is called The Baby Smiled at Me. This features the world-renowned Keukenhof flower gardens in the Netherlands. A young lady takes a walk through the gardens and she sees a mother and her baby having a picnic. And the baby comes over, gives her a little smile, and all is right with the world. And when she goes home and tells her dad, he says, "The baby smiled at you?" Ladies and gentlemen, here we present together The Baby Smiled at Me by Maestro Dugroz. Well, thank you so much to the orchestra. That was The Baby Smiled at Me by Maestro Dugroz, part of the album published in 1965 called Postcards and Nostalgia. And you can buy that album at Bandcamp, dugroz.bandcamp.com. along with any of the other music that you have heard on today's program. Only $9.99 for the entire album, or $1.62 for each individual song. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved. So we've heard the first two songs from the Postcards and Nostalgia album. Let's move along here, and we'll have another chance right now to meet the orchestra. This is Antonito. He is from Spain, but he plays in the orchestra here in Germany. He is the effortlessly cool auxiliary percussionist. He can play anything. You know the type. Our next song takes place back in the Rhineland in Germany. It's a sunny day in Germany in 1966. And there was a concept that was very important to the German people after the devastation of World War II, an economic recovery called the Wunderwurstschaffen. And I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it basically translates to the German economic miracle. And people who were living in poverty only 15 years ago quickly began the process of climbing the upward mobility ladder of economic success. And we have one such success story today, a German woman who's going to be hosting a dinner party with her husband tonight. And she has to go into town, and to get groceries, she needs to ride the trolley. So this song is called the Düsseldorf Trolley Ride, celebrating the economic miracle of Germany in 1966. Here it is from the album Postcards and Nostalgia. We have the Düsseldorf Trolley Ride. Please enjoy. Thank you so much, orchestra. Thank you so much. Wow, what a banger. That was the Düsseldorf trolley ride. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, the ambiguous 80s celebrity, and today we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz from the 1960s on two of his most famous albums, the Grand Bavarian Resort and Postcards and Nostalgia. Each of these songs are available for purchase at dugroz.bandcamp.com. $1.62 for an individual song or $9.99 for an entire album. Now, the next song that we're going to talk about takes us to the United Kingdom, specifically the countryside around Yorkshire. And the name of the song is called Yorkshire Afternoon. This is my personal favorite melody on either album. And my family actually vacationed in Yorkshire last year, a lovely country. This celebrates a typical British holiday and a family that goes out for a picnic. See if you can find any of the spoilers in the picture as we present this. And again, you can support our channel through any contribution. There's a tip jar link in the description box, or just your normal super chats and super stickers. The orchestra is queued up and ready to go, and we're moving on to our next song. It's called Yorkshire Afternoon. Please enjoy. Thank you to our orchestra. We appreciate what you've done. We're at the halfway point of our second album now. And for those of you who are just joining us, I'm your host, the ambiguous 80s celebrity. We're doing a telethon here to raise funds for this station. And to do so, we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. At present, we are covering his 1966 album, Postcards and Nostalgia. And that is available for purchase on Bandcamp. Just go to the link in the description box and you can find that. Here it is right here. It's this one on the right. Postcards and Nostalgia. 7 different songs, $9.99 for the whole album, or $1.62 for each individual song. As we prepare to think about the next song on our track list, this is one written by the maestro with a unique inspiration. You see, during the spring that he took holiday off from composing, the maestro was hiking in the Swiss Alps one day. And after getting lost, he claims that he came across a long-forgotten monastery with a handful of monks. And these were some of the happiest monks that you've ever seen. In fact, as he snuck up on the monastery and peeked in one of the open stone windows, he heard music and lively dancing. And there in front of him was a whole group of dancing monks. He stood there for an entire hour, too shy to say anything, but being a fan of folk music, he took it all in stride. And then towards the end of that hour, one of the friendly monks who was tending the garden walked up to him. Although they spoke a mysterious ancient language that he didn't actually understand, they were able to use a combination of hand signals and pointing to clarify the intent. And the monk offered him a ride in his canoe back down the little stream into the town to help him find his way back to where he had started. This song has 3 different sections. The first section is representative of the monks dancing in their monastery. The middle section, you will hear a mandolin strumming along, and that's our canoe ride down the river. And then the outro at the end is when the maestro considers composing this song. So we will now play that for you, and here it is for your listening and viewing enjoyment. It's the Happiest Canoe in Switzerland. Enjoy. Maestro, take it away. That was the Happiest Canoe in Switzerland. Thank you to our orchestra for playing that. And welcome back to our telethon. I'm your ambiguous 80s celebrity hosting tonight, celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz, and we're currently on his second album, Postcards and Nostalgia. And we've reached our penultimate album. This next one celebrates a personal achievement. So earlier in the program, we talked about the Wirtschaftswunder, the economic miracle recovery of Germany following World War II. And while it certainly was a nationwide event, it was also personal in many cases. This is about one such economic miracle made personal for an individual man, a man who started his own business selling bratwurst out of a little pushcart, making enough money to support his family and then some. Ladies and gentlemen, the orchestra will now play for you a song that is called The Bratwurst Cart. Please enjoy. That was The Bratwurst Cart by Maestro Dugroz from his 1966 album Postcards and Nostalgia. If you're just joining us right now, we're having our annual fundraiser telethon, and we're celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. We're currently on his second album, Postcards and Nostalgia. You can buy the Bratwurst Cart song and any other songs available at dugroz.bandcamp.com. And if you're one of those people that uses points and miles and that kind of stuff, just note that they do accept both PayPal and all major credit cards. You can even use your Citi Strata Elite. Does it code as entertainment on your Saver One? We don't really know, but it might be fun to find out. Only $1.62 for an individual song, or you can get a discount. And if you buy an entire album, it's $9.99. We also have a couple of singles together that we heard during our breaks earlier in the show. So we are now going to reach our final song on the second album, which is Postcards and Nostalgia. This song has a little bit of an interesting backstory, both in real life and the song itself. For the real life backstory, this song was composed by Maestro Dugroz with inspiration from the Long John Silver's jingle in the 70s and 80s. Da, 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 da. Long John Silver's seafood shoppy. Now, here in America, we often call a Long John a type of pastry. It's usually about that long, and it's filled with cream. In Europe, they don't really have Long Johns, at least not by that name, but they do certainly have lots and lots of pastries. And a place that is very much known for their pastries is Paris, France. Who doesn't love a delicious pastry, even an Éclair, a particularly fancy kind of pastry? Little children really love them, but the problem is little children often don't have money. So in our final song, we see the story of two little kids around ages 7 or 8 and their quest to get a delicious pastry. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our final song of the evening, celebrating the music of Maestro Dugroz. It's called the Wistful Window Éclair. Please enjoy. That was the Wistful Window Éclair, and we'd like to thank our orchestra. That was our final song of the evening from the album by Maestro Dugroz, 1966, Postcards and Nostalgia. And again, you have one last chance to buy that music. Actually, not one last chance, because the link will be up indefinitely. But if you check the description box, there is an actual, real life, not pretend link to Bandcamp. It's dugroz.bandcamp.com, where you can buy any of the songs that you may have heard on today's presentation. Here's a picture of what it looks like. You've got the Grand Bavarian Resort, the entire album. You've got Postcards and Nostalgia as an entire album, and the two singles that we heard earlier. And this link will stay up for a while. I will be moving the video that you're watching today over to my alternate channel, Dugroz Nostalgia. Just look up the name, just like it sounds, Dugroz Nostalgia, if you want to hear more that is not directly related to the Points and Miles content. Thank you so much to everyone who supported. I would like to thank MR, who just used the tip jar to support. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. That does help our station. A $25 donation. Celebrate. Thank you so much, MR. I appreciate your patronage. He says, I eclair my support for this. I get it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I have been your host, the ambiguous 80s celebrity. I'd like to say thank you for everyone who joined in, and thank you for joining us. Auf Wiedersehen. And I'm back into my normal character now. This is regular Dugroz. I'm no longer the 1980s ambiguous celebrity. We got 10 people on board, so if you click the thumbs up button on your way out, I'd really appreciate it. I do have time for a few question and answers. If you had a question that you wanted to ask about what we just went over, my process for creating any of the music. Just to clarify, even though this is April 1st and this is kind of a lighthearted little adventure, I don't expect it to be taken too awfully seriously. All of the songs mentioned actually are on Bandcamp. I really did start a Bandcamp page, so if you check the link in the description box, that's another way you can support the channel. And actually, Bandcamp is pretty nice. They let me keep about 85% of whatever you purchase. So that's another way that you can help support the channel, whether you want one of the German albums or you just want the parody credit card points and miles stuff like the Dugroz theme song and Citi's theme song about the City Strada Elite. All right, question and answer time. I'd like to take just a moment to point out like one thing that I didn't quite get to. That last song, Wistful Éclair, Wistful Wonder Éclair. What was it called? I forgot the name of my own song now. Wistful Window Éclair. So I'd actually developed a second piece of art, but just didn't really have a chance to use it. So I wanted to show that. This is the two little kids after they got invited inside by the old man who gave them enough money to buy some eclairs. I thought that was kind of sweet, even though it is completely and totally fake. Yes, everything you heard today is artificial intelligence. Now, having said that, this is something of a cooperative endeavor between both myself and artificial intelligence. If you're wondering what I use, there's two different AI programs. For the sake of writing prompts, directions, getting the instrumentation just right, brainstorming, those kind of things, I use Claude, which is an AI chatbot. I'm not an expert on any particular AI model whatsoever, but supposedly it's one of the better ones for both creativity and it's one of the better ones for privacy. It doesn't share your information across streams. At least that's what they say. And then the program actually used to make the music itself is called Suno, S-U-N-O. Doing it as instrumental only is quite a challenge. There's not a lot of market out there for instrumental only songs, especially an incredibly specific niche like mid 1960s continental European easy listening pop orchestra music, but there should be. Doggone it, it's my favorite type of music. So there's a whole lot of tweaking, a whole lot of coaching. For every one song that came out the back end, there's probably 30 rejects where I have to change something, tweak a style, get rid of an instrument that didn't work. The melody's not compelling. I've very high standards about what's melodic enough to retain and what is not. The only other thing that I would point out is you see a couple different pictures here. I don't think I can zoom in anymore. This is the picture from Yorkshire Afternoon, which is my favorite song. It's supposed to be a British family picnicking, and this is the actual photo that was used here. I wanted to give a little hat tip to the running joke about my love of milk, which is why the mom brought a jar of milk and is pouring glasses of milk on a picnic blanket, even though that's so ridiculous. Those things are all going to get spilled within about 10 seconds, you know. I use Adobe Spark, which actually qualifies for the Adobe or any sort of creative software credit on the US Bank Triple Cash business card, where if you have a purchase every single month for an entire year, they give you $100. So it kind of almost pays for itself. This was the alternate picture. The mom was a little hotter in this picture, but I thought she was just a touch too attractive to be realistic. So I went with the more girl next door type image rather than the there's a famous person that looks kind of like this. What's her name? I can't think of it right now. She hosts game shows nowadays. This one was kind of funny too. This is AI doesn't always come out right. See anything wrong with it? Well, first of all, is this a girl or a boy? I'm not really sure, but their hand doesn't have any fingers, just a nub. And then back here we have a boy with just a head, no body. And I can't figure out if his body's just missing or if he's actually the size of Clifford the Red Dog, big red dog, and he's behind the ridge. He's actually like about 40 feet tall and just staring in on this family's picnic. So all of these pictures are kind of cool in their own way, but this ended up being the one that I liked the most and actually used, the one right here. So let me check to see if anybody has any questions. Nope, looks like that's it. So thank you so much to the 10 of you that stayed on board throughout the entire thing. I really appreciate it. Happy April Fool's Day, everyone. I'll leave this video up for a couple days, and then it'll move over to my alternate channel, Dugroz Nostalgia. I don't have a link, but if you just search for it, just like it sounds, Dugroz Nostalgia. That's where I keep all my stuff. It's more just like travel adventures, or random other things that don't really fit in the world of points and miles. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Auf Wiedersehen.